We should care about nature because there's a misconception that human beings live apart from nature. We don't, you know. We are part of the natural world. And if we continue to alter the physical, chemical, biological systems of nature, these changes will ultimately affect our own well-being and human health. Yeah. So human beings must live in harmony with nature. And we mustn't continue to degrade, to kill countless species of flora and fauna, which are irreplaceable. To take a very simple example, which will be understood by everybody, the humble honeybee. Most of us take them for granted. In fact, we probably regard them as a nuisance rather than as an asset. But honeybee plays a very important role in the pollination, fertilization of fruits, of vegetables. And if they are degraded, it will affect the survivability of agricultural system, horticultural system, and eventually it will affect us, you know. So there was an alarm bell that rang a few years ago in Europe when they found that the bee population was being degraded. So just one example, the role that a humble insect bee plays in the food chain, in the ecosystem, and how this ultimately affects us. I think what is missing is, frankly, leadership. You know, leadership both at the international level, the regional level, the national level, and at the local level. You know, but ultimately the problem can't be solved by governments or business. It has to be solved by us, human beings. You know, whether it's biodiversity, climate change. At the end of the day, if we, the peoples of the world, don't take ownership of the problem is insoluble. It's down to each one of us taking ownership and saying, I have a stake, and I'm willing to do something within my means to resolve this. I think in Singapore we have fortunately succeeded in forging a partnership between government, business, civil society, and academia. Yeah, and just may I give you two examples of this? A few years ago, the National Parks Board and a well-known company invited me to be the guest of honor at a very special tree planting day. This was to plant trees that will attract singing birds to a part of our forest. You know, when these trees grow and mature, they will attract to this forest singing birds, and the forest will resonate with the song of birds. You know, that's a wonderful example of the government and private sector working together to love nature, to promote people's awareness of nature and love of nature. The second example is even more striking. The National Parks Board, an NGO, the Nature Society, and the Orchard Road Business Association, the three parties joined hands to plant certain shrubs and trees along Orchard Road that will attract butterflies.
In the last 40 years, we have lost 40%, almost half of whole wildlife in the planet. This is an estimate based on really, really wide, broad samples around the world. And this is incredible. This is really an indicator of the impact that we are having on planet Earth. But not just biodiversity, we are looking at the boundaries of our planet in terms of, for example, CO2 emissions, in terms of the way we consume and we produce. We are cutting trees faster than forests can regenerate. We are catching fish faster than they can reproduce in the sea, and we are emitting CO2 faster than actually the planet, the natural system can absorb. So we're developing and we are developing our economy in a way that is not within the boundaries of what planet Earth can offer us. On average, we are consuming 1.5 times the resources the planet can offer us every year. And in places like Singapore and many other developed countries with a high footprint, we're talking about 3-4 times, 4 planets a year. This is not sustainable. We have to change course of action here.
The answer is yes and no. Okay. Well, the new technologies coming online will help us in tremendous ways. It will help our lives be more efficient, energy efficient, water efficient, 1,001 things. It will help us save power. It will help us, well, do a lot of things that will help biodiversity and conservation, environment all around. Okay. I'm very positive for technology. Right. All the technology in the world will not save us if we don't get our philosophy and our mindset correct. Because there's one danger with technology. If you think technology are going to solve all your problems, we become complacent and we carry on with the same bad habits, right? The problem I think human beings as a species have got to realize is that there are problems. Yes, there are solutions, there's medicine out there, there's technology out there, but if you don't change your mindset, you're still going to be dead in the water, right? One fear of technology is that you make us so comfortable and thinking that the world is safe, that we are out of it. We start going back to our own bad habits, right? I think the more powerful tool for reversing all these problems would be, can we get our mind wrapped around this? To admit there's a problem, to admit this is what we want to do because it's the right thing to do, and then apply the technology and our ingenuity to solve the problem. If that's the approach, we'll be fine. Otherwise, we're in big trouble. We can actually, I suspect, stop a lot of the extinctions. We can reduce habitat loss by a huge chunk, all right? Easily 2/3, 3/4 or more by how we use habitats, all right? You must remember that how we look at development has changed a lot in the last, I would say in Singapore, at least last 20 years. In the old days, you want to build something, you just go in there, send the bulldozers, clear the whole place, build. The place is messed up. Messed up, lor. A new building will come up very soon. Animals and plants that die, well, that's life and death. Today, we take a lot more care. We ask a lot more questions. Do I need to clear everything? Can my bulldozers perhaps stay on the roadside there? All right? Do I have to destroy all this forest? Are there any rare plants and animals there? The attitude is really changing. And if we take this attitude across the planet, it will save a lot of places, right? Attitudes change. In that sense, I'm optimistic because more and more younger people, older people, they're realizing that you cannot just carry on the old ways, right? And if there's any chance of a sense of hope, that's it, right? Change your behavior.